King James fled to France, it was declared that he had abdicated the throne. So Parliament thought it proper to settle the crown jointly on Prince William and Princess Mary, though it was agreed that the prince should exercise all authority and be king for his lifetime, even though the princess should die before him.
Your Royal Highnesses, the Lords Spiritual and Temporal, and the Commons assembled in convention have agreed upon an act declaring the rights and liberties of the subject and settling the succession of the crown. I pray your Highnesses that you will hear it read.
Whereas the late King, James II,
the Princess Anne, being next in succession to her sister, was at first uneasy that William should be king for life. But I was able to persuade her that as Parliament would carry the settlement in any case, she were wiser to yield with good grace.
Worthy prelates for humbly petitioning to be excused from concurring to the said assumed powers, so the said Lords Spiritual and Temporal
I carried Bishop Tillotson, afterwards Archbishop of Canterbury, to see the Princess Anne, and as he supported my arguments, she took care that no disturbance should be made by her pretended friends, the Jacobites, who had pressed her earnestly to form an opposition.
Your Royal Highnesses, as Speaker of the House of Lords, and in the name of all the estates of this realm, I ask if you agree to this declaration of rights.
I do.
I do.
Then I ask you, will you accept of the crown that we offer?
My Lord Speaker, my lords and gentlemen, I speak for my dear wife as well as for myself. This ancient crown is the more valuable since it is offered to us as a token of the confidence of the nation. We thankfully accept what you have offered us. I assure you that the laws of England, which I came here to support, shall be the rules of my conduct. It shall be my study to promote the welfare of the kingdom, knowing that my best means of doing so shall be by listening constantly to the advice of your two houses. I shall therefore be disposed to trust your judgment rather than my own.
Promises. Have we not heard them all before?
But he will keep them.
Let us pray devoutly that he does.
My Lord Archbishop.
My lord, be seated. And tell me why you're here.
My Lord, you were not present at the ceremony yesterday.
No.
Nor several other bishops of your province.
Dr. Ken, I believe. Doctors Turner, Lake, White, and Lloyd.
All bishops persecuted by the late king.
By the king, yes. We were put on trial, but by the mercy of God and the honesty of an English jury, we were acquitted. Who sent you here?
The queen.
All the way from Saint-Germain.
You should know that we have a new queen. Aye, and a new king, too.
What message do you bring from the lady, Mary?
The queen bids me to ask after your health. She hopes it was not illness that kept you from Whitehall.
You mean that she hopes it was? Yes. What else?
You are the Primate of England. She and the king look for your presence at the coronation. They expect you to perform the ceremony of crowning them, as is the privilege and duty of your office.
Yes. But, my lord, we must always distinguish between the office and the man. If I am to crown them, I must first take a new oath of allegiance. Is this not so?
As we all must.
To a princess who supplants her own father.
A father who would have destroyed your church. You of all men must abhor him.
Oh, you missed the point, my Lord Danby. Your pardon. I believe you're now Marquis of Carmarthen. The Dutchman Bentinck is a noble too, I hear. And Churchill is created Earl of Marlborough.
Do not think, sir,
Don't
these...
misunderstand me. You great men who made the revolution have been rewarded.
I do assure you, sir.
Ought to be. Your revolution may have been politically wise. It may well be that it was best for England and her religion that King James should go. Or at least be restrained. And a politician or a soldier may feel compelled to break his oath for the benefit of his country. He may be right to do so. And who am I to judge? But I am in a different condition. An oath made before God is, to me, sacred. No matter to whom it be made, it cannot be broken, whatever benefits may result. And I do assure you, my lord, and many others in England, and not only of the church, hold the same opinion.
Whosoever refuses the oaths will lose all his places and appointments.
Indeed, he should expect to.
And I am to tell the Queen you will not consent to crown them?
Pray do.
In this event, I am to ask you...
Well?
Will you send her your blessing?
No, Marquis, I shall not. Tell your princess first to ask her father's blessing. Without that, mine would be of no value.
May I disturb the Queen?
What is it, my lord?
I have a letter for you, madam.
A letter? Oh, there's no time to read letters.
Yet, maybe you should see this one. It comes from Saint-Germain.
What? Give it to me.
I have another one by the same messenger for the Princess Anne.
Well, go then. Go!
Your Majesty, time is short and everybody waits. 'Twere an ill thing if the ceremony were delayed.
Other matters are more urgent than ceremonies. Even coronation ceremonies. Take back word to Westminster, we shall be late. And there's an end to it. Before anything else, I must speak with Marshal Schomberg.
Will he be in his
Lord.
place, sir?
Then he must leave it. My lords, I have disquieting news from abroad. The council must be convened immediately.
Wait, Sidney.
I go to the cockpit with a letter for the Lady Anne.
I'll join you there if I can.
Without fail.
My Lord Marlborough.
Sir.
Attend us in 10 minutes at the council chamber.
William,
Why, madam, I was just about to...
I have received this letter. Writ a month ago, but by design, I swear, by design, sent to me only now.
Calm yourself.
Today.
Calm yourself and tell me who has written the letter.
My father. He curses me for accepting the crown. He says here, hitherto I have been willing to accept your conduct, since you were ruled by your husband. But your accepting the crown lies within your own power. If you do it while I am the Prince of Wales,
The pretended Prince of Wales.
the curse of a father will fall
His
upon you.
curse means nothing.
But he says, and the curse of God, which commands obedience to parents.
Your obedience is to me.
William, if I'm to be cursed by God,
But
I
you
don't
know,
that-
madam, and you know also, Bentinck, that I have done nothing but by your advice and with your approval. Now, madam, these gentlemen should know this.
I approve only what you tell me to approve. If I'm to be cursed for becoming queen, I know not whether I can now agree to it.
You shall agree. And as for your father, My lords, allow me 20 minutes before I join you.
Pray excuse me, sir.
Well, now, it's a damned unfortunate thing. Well, she feels it. Well, she's bound to feel it. But on giving the matter thought, she'll come round. She'll come round.
Question us she will. She has as strong a mind to be queen as he has to be king. Not women who get the vapours.
She'll behave herself when the time comes. What do you think, Halifax?
What do I think? Only that it makes me vomit to hear a king abuse his wife in public. I should expect better manners.
After this, can I see my sister crowned?
You can, madam, and you must. When a revolution is made, those who go with it have to accept the consequences. And you went far beyond neutrality in opposition to your father.
I did. But whether it was right to do so...
Well, it's too late now for doubts.
But even if I was right in opposing him, there remains the child. Oh, he at least is innocent. Oh, I can never be truly sure whether he's my brother.
And no man ever will be. I have said, and I will always say, that the poor Queen was incapable of deception.
Ah, Sidney, you ever had a fondness for her?
And always shall have, I hope.
Yet an imposture was still possible.
I, and the Queen, as much a victim of it as all others.
I believe this to be the truth. Indeed, I must believe it. For otherwise, how can I support the settlement? I should feel guilty for the rest of my days.
Now come, dear Mrs. Morley, take heart, and let your conscience be at ease. Well, whatsoever you say, do, or feel, nothing will be changed. Your father is gone, gone for good, and his son, pretender or no, will be bred up a Catholic in France.
And not even the Jacobites have much stomach for popery.
I thank you both, though I am not wholly persuaded.
Then will you go now?
Yes.
And another comfort, madam. Since your happy condition forbids your attending the coronation...
Why, yes, you'll be naught but a spectator, as at a play. Well, is the audience obliged to approve the action of the piece? Nay, Mrs. Morley, you and I will sit in a box like two fat housewives and applaud or hiss the players as we feel inclined.
A Jesuitical argument, but still.
Madam, you too have had a letter.
Yes.
What will you do?
Behave myself as if it had never come.
I'm glad of it. The Queen will do the same, though not without much persuasion.
She has more need than I for courage.
You both have enough, thank God. Madam, prepare yourself for some very ill news.
What? What is it?
Your father is in Ireland. He landed 10 days since at Kinsale with a body of French officers.
Well, was he not opposed?
No. The Irish rose to join him. He commands the whole country, save in the extreme north. Londonderry and Enniskillen still hold out.
Will he come here?
He resolves to, I'm sure.
Oh, stay now, he'll not succeed, will he, John?
I believe there's no danger of it, none at all.
I pray you, madam, pray will you come? The tiring women are going stark mad. If you're late, they expect to get the blame. But I know who'll get it. Now I do beg you, I shall come presently. Will you find my husband, desire him to come to my room?
I shall follow. Why, in God's name, did you tell her? 6 months with child, cursed in a foul letter by her father, the woman's distraught.
Sarah.
Or could you not wait until after this comedy we must all sit through? It is not like you to be so inconsiderate.
Sarah, 'tis you that should consider. How long do you think this news can be kept secret? In 1 hour, it will be known in the Abbey. In 2, the streets will be full of it. Should I have let it come upon her suddenly, without warning?
Damnation. Why must you always be in the right?
Damnation, someone has to be.
God, I'm a sour bitch.
Not often. Mostly between 5 and 7 months of your time. At all other seasons, the purest honey.
John. Tell me what now? Will the king send you to Ireland?
He should, but he won't.
Why not?
Because he'll trust no English general to command independently. No, he'll send Schomberg and Ginkle. And that would serve if he'd throw in all his strength. James could be driven out in one campaign.
He won't do this.
He's haunted by Flanders, so the best troops go there, and I with them, commanding the English divisions. Under a Dutchman, of course, the Prince of Waldeck.
When do you leave?
Next month.
So you won't be here when?
No.
I must go to the Lady Anne.
And I to the king.
And in Ireland, Your Majesty, everything goes well. Schomberg makes no progress, and Londonderry is like to fall.
Good.
King James says he is ready to invade England. Give him but 15,000 French troops.
Never. He will lose every man of them. Oh, pardon. Let him stay in Ireland, where he can divert the English and do us all good. What other news, Barillon?
From England, sir? The Princess of Denmark has a son.
Has she now? Tell me, has it one head or two?
I am not informed about that, but the child lives. The king, I mean the Prince of Orange, is overjoyed. He has created the boy Duke of Gloucester.
A Protestant heir. Anything from Flanders?
Waldeck is pleased with Milord Malbrook and his English soldiers, whom he trains to perfection.
Darion,
sir.
I have promised my brother King James we will not recognize any titles conferred by the Prince of Orange. Where is Waldeck?
Beyond the Sample, near Valcourt. Dumier watches him closely.
He'd better. By himself, Waldeck will do nothing. To him, war is nothing but a long minuet. But Churchill is a bird of a different feather. Higher? Like this? Very well.
Oh, sit down, man, sit down. I shall too, for I'm dead beat. That was a close one. Oh, Beckett, get some water ready and a bandage. The General's wounded.
What's up? Where is he?
Well, where do you think? As soon as his armour was off, he rode round every picket to make certain that all was safe. Then he spoke to the wounded, the other 70 wounded, and told them how gallant they were. And now, most like, he's inspecting the dirty feet of every poxy soldier in our contingent.
And he's not bad hurt?
Oh, no, thank God, no. It was a splinter in the arm during the last charge. He led it himself. The head of the Life Guards and the Blues. Majestic. You should have been there, Beckett.
Me, sir? Nay. I thank God I was not.
No taste for glory.
Not me.
We had a victory. The French drew off. 2,000 dead, they say, and 6 guns. Does that not cheer you?
Why, sir, but I'd be a valet, not a hero. And I wish my lord felt as I do. And one fine day, if he keeps on charging and battling hand to hand and all that, why, he'll get himself killed. And then where should we all be? Nay, a pox on heroes, I say.
Hey, Charles. Has Beckett given you some wine? No? Beckett, a glass of wine for Colonel Churchill and one for myself. What's all this?
Well, for your wound, my lord.
It's been dressed. Anything come by the post?
These letters.
Ah.
Now, may I help you?
Thank you, no. You did well today.
Generally speaking, the cannon fired when ordered to. Thanks to your dispositions, John, they were placed so that their fire was effective. Well, how is Sarah?
Sarah is well. And a new babe, too. 7 pounds at birth and a fine girl.
Questionless. You two are healthy breeders. What other gossip?
The King swears he'll never live at Whitehall. His health suffers. He hides himself at Hampton Court, and the ministers complain he'll see no one but his Dutch friends.
Oh, I'm glad not to be one of them.
The Queen is furnishing Kensington House with Indian calicos and Chinese porcelain to the point of ridicule. Londonderry is relieved, and Schomberg marches south. Well, we knew that. Wait, here's something. The question of the Lady Anne's revenue has come up in Parliament. The Tories desire to give her an income independent of the King, but he'll have none of it. He says she must be paid what he thinks fit out of his own purse.
Well, is that so monstrous?
That depends. The Queen, of course, supports her husband, and because of this and other mean actions of his towards the Lady Anne, a coldness now grows between the sisters. I must write at once.
I have no writing tonight.
Not till later, anyway. I'd forgotten. I'm summoned to supper by the Prince of Waldeck to celebrate his victory. You too, Charles, so we'd better wash off this dirt. Will you give me a hand on my coat?
Now, easy, John. Supper, eh? They tell me he keeps a good table. Now, we'll take this carefully. Do you suppose Marshal Dumier is feasting his officers?
But he's Secretary of State. You shall see him. You must.
Must I, indeed?
He comes directly from the Queen.
What the devil do I care where he comes from?
Would you make her your enemy? And the King, too? I tell you, that will be the result if you support the Princess Anne against their wishes.
If they desire to coerce the princess, they may try to do so, but I'll have no part of it.
I never thought you a fool until now. What can the princess do for you or for your husband? Mighty little. But one word from the king, and your lord is either a ruined man or the greatest subject in England. Now I beg you, hear what Shrewsbury comes to tell you.
Well, I'll hear it, but whether he'll like what I tell him is another matter.
I'll fetch him.
Sidney! So you're here after all?
I thought it right that I should be.
Will you stay with me?
Nay, Sarah, you can manage Shrewsbury far better than I.
Well, I have John's instructions and yours. I'll not budge from them.
Good. I have been quietly taking the Parliament's opinion. Questionless, the majority will support the princess if she holds fast.
We must see that she does.
Then, if you'll excuse me, I shall remove myself. Oh, not out of hearing, if you'll both be good enough to speak loudly. I like Shrewsbury. Do you know what the ladies call him?
Aye, the King of Hearts. The fools.
Nay, they love him for his looks and sweet temper, especially the Queen. Maybe that's why he was chosen to be ambassador at the court of Queen Sarah.
As John would say, silly, silly.
My lady. Your most humble servant.
Pray, sit down.
I've long admired you, madam, both for your beauty and your wit. But I never thought I'd be fortunate enough to speak with you privately.
And you never will again, sir, in private or in public. Unless you speak quick and plain with me. I'll not be cozened.
Thank God for that. I grow weary of women that can be. My errand is this. There is much stir and heat in the Commons about the revenue for the Princess of Denmark. The King desires this to cease. He will give the Princess £50,000 this year and settle that amount yearly upon her. But this must be from his own purse and at his own discretion, as is the custom. Moreover, he wishes
My
me
lord,
to tell you that
what has this to do with me?
you are known to advise the Princess in all she does. If she obeys the King, it'll be to your credit. If she does not, you shall carry the blame.
The princess has a mind of her own, and you are mistaken if you believe she can be persuaded once it is set. But if it were otherwise, I should counsel her to stand firm.
Lady, you must...
We have a foreign king who loves us not, and a queen who loves only him. So far, the princess has had little kindness from either of them, and her husband less. Now, if her revenue comes directly from a Parliament grant, no man can take it from her. But if it is to depend upon the king's charity, to be paid or withheld according to the degree of her obedience, then she were very easily reduced to utter slavery, and this is not a tolerable state for the heiress to the throne. So I should advise her to trust her friends and insist upon her independence.
Truly, do you wish me to take this back for an answer?
Doubtless you will report exactly what I have said.
In faith, I praised your beauty and wit. But, madam, your courage is above all praise.
Yes, I agree that is best. I shall tell the Queen myself.
Your Majesty.
Yes, what is it?
'Tis announced, sir, you go to Ireland to command the armies.
Sir?
I have a great desire to serve in the campaign. May I go with you? I pray you, sir, I was bred a soldier and have seen action against the
As a
Swedes.
junior officer. Oh, a gallant one, we know, but now that would not be fitting, Your Highness. You would have to have a high command, and I've none to offer you. Excuse me. Pray, madam, a word with you before you go to cards. Oh, very well. Come if you must.
Is anything amiss?
Well, you will think so. As I do. Yesterday I appointed 9 privy councillors to be chief advisers to you while I am away. Carmarthen as president, with Devonshire, Godolphin, Russell...
I and Marlborough. I tell you that man...
Like him or no, madam, you need him.
Well, then what is it?
Shrewsbury. He's resigned his office and sent me the seals.
But why? Of all these men, he's the only one I trust. You yourself
He
said...
tells me that he is ill.
Do you believe him?
I must. Or think of worse reasons. The council is waiting. Excuse me.
Why, sister! You do me great honour.
I'm glad to think so, madam, but wherefore?
By coming to see me, of course. Methought you'd be too proud, now that the Commons have made you the object of their charity.
Your Majesty...
Be silent! I know your part in this. Well, have you nothing to say?
Only that I am fortunate in my friends.
Friends? What friends, pray? What friends have you but the King and me? Anne, have you forgotten your manners? Do you dare to turn your back on me?
Madam, I am sorry.
I should be happy to think so.
Your Majesty. Madam. Stay a moment, madam. I have much to tell you.
The Boyne. What is the Boyne?
A river, sir. North of Dublin. There.
And this skirmish?
A victory, sir, for the Prince of Orange, no doubt about it. A decisive one, too, in King James's opinion, or he would not have sailed again for France.
No doubt. When does he reach Versailles?
In 3 days.
He is to be received with all honours.
It is arranged, sir.
What remains in Ireland?
Only the south and west. Orange besieges Limerick, here.
The longer he is kept out of Flanders, the better.
The Irish can amuse him, at least for another year, with our help.
Good.
But only while they can maintain their hold on these fortresses, Cork and Kinsale, and the harbours that supply them.
Cork and Kinsale, God's death, man, I thought we'd disposed of that fantasy once and for all. If you think we'll let you take troops out of England while the French command the Channel, and I'd like to invade us...
There'll be no invasion, at least not this year.
There speaks ambition, not reason. Nay, my lord, leave Ireland to the king.
A suggestion, my lord.
Well, sir?
May we not leave all military affairs to those who understand them? Your Majesty.
Before we settle to business, my lords, I have something to tell my Lord Marlborough. As you know, my lord, the proposal you made to take an expedition to Cork and Kinsale was opposed by near the entire council. But I agreed with the majority, thinking it hazardous to leave the country unprotected. But I writ to His Majesty, asking his opinion. His answer came today. He gives his approval of the expedition.
I thank you, madam. I, too, have had a letter from His Majesty. He asks me to make haste and leave as soon as possible. Now, madam, I guarantee the success of this plan. Indeed, I stake my reputation on it. But since speed is essential, have I your permission to withdraw?
And, madam, since I must find the money to pay for this expedition...
You are excused, my lord.
Two fortresses, Cork and Kinsale. Did you not speak to me of their importance?
I did, sir.
It appears Mr. Churchill held a similar view since he has captured both of them.
True, sir.
Both within 20 days. Remarkable. Since the day I myself decorated him at Maastricht, this Churchill has become a formidable man.
On the wrong side, alas.
Loyalty. Changeable. As water in a cistern. Tell me, has he written to make his peace with King James?
Name 3 great men in England who have not.
I had asked for English troops as reinforcements, but they sent me Dutch and Danes, commanded by a popinjay called the Duke of Württemberg, who desired to command me as well. I persuaded him gently to change his mind, and he now obeys me. However, it is clear that the king had no intention of allowing a purely English victory. I shall lose no time in settling things here, so that I may the sooner be back with you, whom I love beyond my own life. Ambitious as you think me to be, I would not live in this place to be emperor of it. I shall have no satisfaction till I see you again. Therefore, if you love me, have care of your dear self.
Nay, John, I tell you again, patience, always patience.
How long? I see no end to it. It's more than a year now since Cork, and still I'm given nothing.
Certainly you should have had the garter. I know the Lady Anne begged it for you.
And the king refused. But above all, he refused me employment. I'm no braggart, sir, but have I not shown the world what I can do, given the power?
Indeed, John, you have.
Instead, I'm carried around in his train like a puppet, watching others bungle the work I should be doing.
Clearly, it is no part of his policy to let English soldiers gather laurels.
Then his policy must and shall be changed. Indeed, I've already begun.
Will you tell me how?
Through Parliament. My friends in the Commons prepare an address to the Crown. They will demand the removal of all foreigners from employment. I propose to move a similar motion in the Lords.
A direct act of hostility.
Aye, sir, but lawful. Now, I do not ask your aid.
My active days are over. But if you should meet trouble, and I believe you will, count upon me in any personal way.
I will, sir, and I'm grateful.
One word only. I know your audacity, but don't press the king too hard.
As hard as I must. I resent any man that will not allow me to use my powers.
It's the question of the oaths at a coronation. If these are sacred and binding, is not all opposition treason?
It used to be so.
No longer?
Only to some of the bishops who would die in that belief. Ah, you're here before us.
More coffee, pray.
We have been debating on the divine right of kings.
So, in a manner, have we.
I say it no longer exists. By our action at the Revolution, we exploded that doctrine forever. For the benefit of the nation, we discarded one king and elected another. 2 others.
Elected? What else did we do? But don't let us forget, we elected them for life. So, although we are free to argue against their policy, we cannot take away the rights we gave them.
Your opinion, John?
I stand with my Lord Halifax. In principle, I'll serve any king that serves England. But, gentlemen, 3 years since, it was said that a man must speak Irish to be given preferment in the army. It is the same today, except that the language is Dutch. Who catch the plums today? Bentinck, Schomburg, Zulestein, Ginkel, Waldeck, Solms. Are they all men of genius? No. Why are 5,000 Dutch guards kept in London while English troops are sent abroad?
John, all this will be reported.
I hope it will. We all know why. Dutch William won't give authority to Englishmen for fear they send him packing.
Would you do that?
No, but we have other remedies.
John, you have digressed from our original point.
Has he? I think not. Who is legally King of England?
Why, it is of no immediate significance. But legally, there's only one answer. James II.
My lords, forgive me. My Lord Marlborough, you know me, I think.
Colonel Bulkley. What do you here in London?
I see my friends. And I hope, my lord, that I may have the honor of calling upon you.
Pray do, sir.
And upon my Lord Halifax.
And my Lord Godolphin? And my Lord Shrewsbury?
Ah, pox. The devil is Colonel Bulkley. A Jacobite agent, fresh from Saint-Germain.
Your Majesties, my humble duty to you both, and most sincere thanks for the honor of this audience.
I trust, my lord, that you're none the worse for your long exile.
No, sir, though deeply glad to be home again.
You should know why I sent you my pardon.
To have it is enough.
Your correspondence with me in the reign of the late king proved useful to my cause. Your attempts at the end to turn him towards the right courses led to your disgrace. I believe you've suffered enough for your faults.
Again, sir, my thanks. All I desire is to live at peace in England, and far from all thought of business.
Oh, nay, I trust that we shall have the benefit of your advice from time to time.
I shall be honored, Your Majesty.
Do you seriously think of employing him?
Why not? Here we have a nation whose great men are a set of criminals. It may well be that the greatest criminal is most capable of managing them.
So I have all the papers you asked for.
Marlborough? Ah. Carmarthen believes that Marlborough plots with the Jacobites to bring your father over.
Certainly he corresponds with Saint-Germain.
Oh, of course, but that means nothing. Indeed, I find it exceedingly useful, but Marlborough, I admire that man's sagacity. What could he gain by restoring James? At the best, oblivion, or at the worst, well, your father's hardly the one to forgive old injuries. Nay, Marlborough looks farther ahead than that. Well, we shall see.
As you commanded, madam, the Princess of Denmark awaits you.
Bring her to heel.
Nay, pray, sister, do not rise. I beg you.
I thank you.
These continual pregnancies, do they not weary you?
They are the will of God.
Say rather the will of the Prince of Denmark. You should buy him a plump young miss.
Buy him?
Aye, and save yourself considerable fatigue. At least you could afford it.
I see no reason why you should insult me or my husband.
Do you not? Then I will tell you. What you and your family say to insult my husband is well known.
Indeed.
In jest, of course. Your friends call him Taliban, monster, Dutch abortion. And worse, for all I know.
Who tells you this?
Do not question me. The chief amongst these wits, is my Lady Marlborough. Is it true that you now give her £1,000 a year?
If I do, she deserves it.
If you do you?
Whatsoever I pay comes from my own revenue.
Yours? It is not yours, but given you by the Exchequer as mine is, therefore it is accountable.
Madam, I do give Lady Marlborough this amount. I would give her more, but she'll not accept of it. But before agreeing to this sum, she consulted my Lord Treasurer, who gave his approval.
Godolphin. He's in a pocket, as you are.
And the King should dismiss him.
As doubtless he will.
As doubtless he will not, for even the King knows that without my Lord Godolphin, the Treasury would be bankrupt.
Sister, your presumption is beyond belief. Now, I give you my command and that of the King. You are to dismiss Lady Marlborough from your service.
No. No, madam, that I will not do.
You will not. Stand, woman! When I stand!
Beg your pardon.
Lady Marlborough is to go at once.
No.
Am I not to be obeyed?
In all else, madam, but not in this.
By God, if you defy me, you shall suffer for it. I shall see to it. Your revenue will be reduced by 10, by 20.
By the kindness of Providence and my friends. That is out of your power.
Stubborn! Stubborn! A mule!
Oh, she dares to outface me. That abominable creature has so strong a hold. I can do no more.
Easy, madam. The creature shall plague you no longer. There's more than one way of killing a cat.
Here is my Lord Commander.
So I observe.
My lord, I come from His Majesty with these orders.
And you know what they contain?
Assuredly, since I drew them up, at His Majesty's request. He removes you forthwith from the Privy Council. Your position as Lord of the Bedchamber terminates today. You are required to sell or otherwise dispose of all your other appointments, both civil and military. You are forbidden the court and all premises belonging to it. I need not remind you that the cockpit is included in those premises.